and Sadguru in the form of Śrīla Prabhupāda. This is what Parampara is. A very qualified spiritual master and also equally qualified disciple. Om Jnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Padamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavasya Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvetam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Pada Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priya Vansha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhayevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pacharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyatya Deshatarine Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimate Gopal Kṛṣṇa Goswamī Ti Namine Prabhupadasya Sahityam Ya Prakashasya Vatirya Pracharam Kritvan Sadhu Bhagavad Padaya Te Namah. Hare Krishna. So as we will be observing the appearance day of our Guru Mahārāj, His Holiness Gopal Kṛṣṇa Goswamī Mahārāj tomorrow. So I thought I would share about Mahārāj. I want to speak. I want to glorify to some extent whatever insignificant way I can and make all of us become aware of what is the personification of the spiritual position of His Holiness Gopal Kṛṣṇa Goswamī Mahārāj, and particularly his service with Śrīla Prabhupāda. In his eternal service to Śrīla Prabhupāda, how he is connected and to what extent he is dedicated, and how much Prabhupada trusted and loved Gopal Kṛṣṇa Goswamī Mahārāj. That is also very, very significant, very distinguished. So I'll first share the biography. There is a small biography of Mahārāj that I want to share. So as you know all this, most of you know this site. Our Guru Mahārāj official website, GKG office. So Srila Gopal Kṛṣṇa Goswamī Mahārāj appeared on this planet on the most auspicious day of Annada Ekadashi on August 14, 1944. So the appearance day of Guru Maharaj is very, very auspicious. He appears on the Ekadashi, which is just followed by Janmashtami. So if you are wherever you are, in whatever time zone or whichever country you are, to observe the day of Guru Maharaj's appearance day, his Vyas Puja, that day has to be Ekadashi. And Prabhupada appears, Kṛṣṇa appears on Janmashtami, and Śrīla Prabhupāda appears just one day next to Kṛṣṇa's appearance, or the day when everyone in Braja comes to know that Kṛṣṇa has appeared. That is celebrated as Nandotsav. So the day of Nandotsav, when Brajavasis were celebrating Kṛṣṇa's appearance, that day Śrīla Prabhupāda appeared, because he was to spread the mission of Lord Kṛṣṇa. He was to spread the message of Lord Kṛṣṇa in the form of Bhagavad Gita. So Kṛṣṇa selected Śrīla Prabhupāda. And in 1944, the year in which Śrīla Gopal Kṛṣṇa Goswamī Mahārāj appears, that year is very, very historical in the ISKCON and in the life of Śrīla Prabhupāda. Can anyone share why is 1944, apart from Gopal Kṛṣṇa Goswamī Mahārāj's appearance, why is it very significant in the history of ISKCON, or even in the life of Śrīla Prabhupāda? Why is this year 1944 very, very significant? 1896, when Śrīla Prabhupāda appears on Nandotsav, that year for the first time, in 1896, Śrīla Bhaktivinoda Thakur had sent his first publication to overseas universities for preaching. That was in McGill University in Canada. And that is the year where Śrīla Prabhupāda appears. And anyone knows what is the significance of 1944 in Śrīla Prabhupāda's life? No one? Yes? There, Śrīla Prabhu.
Kṛṣṇa Prabhuji, in 1944, the Back to Godhead magazine was published, Prabhuji.
Yes, very good. The first edition Śrīla Prabhupada published is Back to Godhead magazine. Last year or last to last year in my Vyas Puja offering, I had mentioned about that. That in 1944, Śrīla Prabhupada for the first time, he published his magazine Back to Godhead. And that is the year which was chosen for Śrīla Gopal Kṛṣṇa Goswamī Mahārāj to appear. Why? We will know. So Mahārāj appears in 1944 on 14th of August, and very historic city. We are blessed to be in the same city in New Delhi, India. So Delhi is very, very auspicious, very advantageous, because great acharyas have appeared, great acharyas have spread the mission. Śrīla Prabhupada spread many, many years in Delhi, in Chipiwala temple, trying to publish his books. And Gopal Kṛṣṇa Goswamī Mahārāj also appeared here in Delhi. And he was born in a very pious family, Indian Hindu family. Although his father was a very, very high-ranking official in Indian Navy. Guru Maharaj's father was in Indian Navy, in a very high rank, admiral rank. But he was very pious, religious. So he named his son Gopal Kṛṣṇa at the time of appearance. And that name has ever remained. Even till today, Maharaj's name remains the same. And Guru Maharaj spent his childhood here in Delhi. He graduated from University of Delhi. And for his further studies, for his higher studies, he was sent to Paris in early 60s. Just imagine. In those years, how many years from here? Around 60 years before. Maharaj went to Paris to take further education from Sorbonne University on a scholarship from the French government. And he was studying management at that time. Guru Maharaj was studying management in 1960s. And I heard from some of the senior devotees that although Maharaj was in Paris, and Paris is supposed to be very, very glamorous city, very much sought after, but Maharaj was only focused on studies. So once his family members, some of his family relatives came to Paris, and they were insisting Maharaj to take them to the famous places of Paris. One of the most famous places of Paris is the Eiffel Tower. But Maharaj was also studying there for more than a year, but he had never been there. So this shows that from his very childhood, or from his very youth also, he was not at all inclined or attracted by any material glare or any material influence. He was completely detached. So when they insisted, so Maharaj arranged that they could go and see Eiffel Tower, but he did not go. He himself refrained from going. So the influence of the Western culture, although Maharaj was studying there, was completely insignificant. And then Maharaj from Sorbonne University, then he further moved on. He went to McGill University in Montreal. And it is not a coincidence that McGill University is the same university where Śrīla Bhakti Vinod Thakur had sent his first writings in 1896. You see, when the seed was sown, Śrīla Prabhupada says that the founder of this Krishna consciousness movement is Śrīla Bhakti Vinod Thakur. So Bhakti Vinod Thakur in 1896, he had sent his books, the Life and Percepts of Lord Chaitanya, to international universities, but in it was, and McGill University happens to be the first time went to an ISKCON center in Montreal. So that was the third center. The first center Śrīla Prabhupada established was in New York in 1966. And second center he established was in San Francisco in 1967. And when Prabhupada's visa expired in America, he had to go to Canada, neighboring country, to be there for few months to be able to get back his American visa. And Prabhupada chose Montreal, and Prabhupada disciple opened this third center at Montreal. And McGill University is at Montreal, and Śrīla Prabhupada went to Montreal, and Maharaj was studying. Maharaj had almost finished his studies there. Maharaj had already joined PepsiCo International, the Pepsi holding company. And he was already doing job there. He was working there as one of the research analysts in research. So in 1967, September, for the first time, Guru Maharaj went to the Montreal center. It was small center, recently opened up. And then he was told that the founder Acharya is going to come. Founder Acharya Śrīla Prabhupāda is coming the next day. So immediately when he came to know that Śrīla Prabhupāda is coming, although he had not met, he did not knew much also. So because Mahārāj is coming from Delhi, from the Punjabi Sikh community. So in Sikh community, there is this concept of seva. You know what seva they call it? In Gurudwara? Kar seva. Have you heard Kar seva? The Sikhs, they do Kar seva. So Mahārāj immediately, when he came to the temple, he inquired, is there any service that I can render? So Mahārāj is showing by his example. Coming to the temple is not just for our own advantage or our own glorification or advancement. Coming to the temple is to perform some service. We also come to the temple. We never ask, is there any service that I can render? And on his first visit in ISKCON center, Mahārāj inquired that is there any service that I can render? Is there any seva that I can perform? And at that time in Montreal, the president was Mahārāj. And he said, yes, there is one special service that you can do, that Śrīla Prabhupāda, our founder Acharya, is coming tomorrow. This was in 31st May 1968. And Prabhupada was arriving on 1st June 1968. So he took, Mahapurusha Prabhu took Guru Maharaj in that room where Śrīla Prabhupada was to stay. And he said that you please clean this room. On his first visit to temple, he was given service of what service? Menial service of cleaning the room. And Mahārāj spent hours impeccably. He cleaned everything. From the glass planes to the carpets, floor, everything he impeccably cleaned. He spent hours. And next day, Śrīla Prabhupāda came. So he met Śrīla Prabhupāda in Montreal in 1968. Yeah. Having received an intimation from His Grace Mahapurusha Das, the then president of ISKCON Montreal, that His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Śrīla Prabhupāda, founder Acharya, shall be arriving in Montreal on June 1st, 1968. Gopal Goswamī Mahārāj arrived there on 30th May. After the Kirtan, His Holiness Gopal Goswamī Mahārāj inquired if he could render some service. And he was immediately sent to clean Śrīla Prabhupāda's apartment. And what is Śrīla Mahārāj's reflection? He said, I was very fortunate to receive this as my first assignment in devotional service, Mahārāj said. He cleaned the doors, shelves, the windows of Śrīla Prabhupāda's apartment. In this way, Gopal Krishna Maharaj's service attitude for Śrīla Prabhupāda was manifested even before he actually met him. So Mahārāj met Śrīla Prabhupāda in the evening of 1st June 1968. Within the first 2 weeks of meeting Śrīla Prabhupāda, he decided that he would accept Śrīla Prabhupāda as a spiritual master. So in the words of Mahārāj, when I first met Śrīla Prabhupāda, the motivation to surrender to God was already there in me. And 2 weeks after meeting him, I knew that Lord Kṛṣṇa wanted me to surrender to Śrīla Prabhupāda. So this is the impeccable relationship that Mahārāj immediately developed with Śrīla Prabhupāda. And after meeting Prabhupada, immediately he accepted Śrīla Prabhupāda as his spiritual master. And we see the exchange, how this relationship between a Sadshishya and a Sadguru, it developed and it fostered and it grew. So I'm sharing some of the letters which has been written by Śrīla Prabhupāda towards Gopal Kṛṣṇa Goswamī Mahārāj. This is one of the first letters. This is dated 27 November 1968. So in the early days of Krishna consciousness movement, Śrīla Prabhupāda used to interact and inspire whoever was coming to Krishna consciousness through his letters. Śrīla Prabhupāda has written more than 6,000 letters. This is one of the first letters Śrīla Prabhupāda wrote to Gopal Kṛṣṇa Goswamī Mahārāj. So Prabhupada is showering his blessings. He says, please accept my blessings. And Prabhupada says, great satisfaction. Because Prabhupada received the first letter of Mahārāj. Great satisfaction in your letter of November 20th, along with very kind gift of one pullover sweater. This gift is very much appreciated by me, as the weather in Los Angeles is a little bit cold. Lately, I had need of just such a sweater. So we see how Gopal Kṛṣṇa Goswamī Mahārāj is setting the standard and how we should approach the spiritual master. To serve him. Tat vidhi paripatena pariprashnena sevaya. The attitude of service was always there, and we see the first letter that Mahārāj wrote to Śrīla Prabhupāda. Prabhupada was very highly satisfied. And also Mahārāj did not send us the letter. He sent a very, very special, intimate gift to Śrīla Prabhupāda. What was the gift? A very warm and very good quality sweater for Śrīla Prabhupāda. Because in November, in America, it is very, very cold. America, some part of the American cities, they experience snow also. It is icy cold. So Guru Maharaj sent Prabhupada the letter, the first letter, and along with the letter, he said a sweater. And Prabhupada very much appreciates this gesture of Mahārāj. Also, please thank Satya Bhama for her good taste of selection. So Guru Maharaj was in Grahastha order. And Maharaj's wife was Satya Bhama Devi. I am pleased to learn that you are spending your time in meditation with Lord Kṛṣṇa. And I request that continue to chant Hare Kṛṣṇa so that Kṛṣṇa will surely bestow all blessings upon yourself. Once again, I thank you for your good sentiments and thoughtfulness. The first letter itself, Śrīla Prabhupāda is very much appreciating the devotional sentiment which Mahārāj expressed or showed. And Prabhupada is also very pleased by the thoughtfulness, the deep thinking of Mahārāj. So in this way, we see from the day one, Mahārāj had such service attitude towards Śrīla Prabhupāda. That Prabhupada developed some very special affection and affinity towards Guru Maharaj. And that grew day by day, year by year. Now I'll go to the next letter of Śrīla Prabhupāda. This is dated 27th November 1968. This I have heard. So well, Guru Maharaj had met, and at that time the Montreal center was very, very small. There was not much facilities there, or even deities were not there. So Guru Maharaj voluntarily expressed his desire to sponsor the deities, the first deities that would be installed in the temple. And Prabhupada very much liked it. So we see in one correspondence, Prabhupada is writing to Hamsaduta Prabhu from Los Angeles on 12th August 1969. So Prabhupada is telling Hamsaduta Prabhu, see how Prabhupada used to influence his disciples. 2 days back on Śrīla Prabhupāda's appearance day, I was speaking about it. Both how Prabhupada would influence and inspire his disciples, both together. So Prabhupada is telling Hamsaduta Prabhu, who is in Montreal, that please do not accept from Gopal Kṛṣṇa 6-inch murti. Why? Because he had promised to donate one pair of 24-inch murti. Besides that, when you are engaged in worshipment of the temple duties, you may not install separate deities at your home. Very important principle. You see, what happened? Prabhupada had a desire to install 24-inch big murtis in the Montreal center. And when he expressed his desire, Gopal Kṛṣṇa Mahārāj immediately accepted it. But later, when Prabhupada left Montreal, so then the officiating devotee was Hamsaduta Prabhu. And Hamsaduta Prabhu was desperate. So he would have spoken with Mahārāj and they agreed for 6-inch day. But Prabhupada is writing a letter and telling Hamsaduta Prabhu that don't settle for anything less. Because Mahārāj has promised 24-inch. So 24-inch should be there. Then again, Prabhupada is writing to Hamsaduta Prabhu on 21st January 1969. He says that as far as the 24-inch murtis which Gopal Kṛṣṇa has agreed to donate, I have information that they will cost about $250, including the cost of shipping to Montreal. So either Gopal Kṛṣṇa may write to his father or else he may donate the money to the temple and we shall get the murtis from Vrindavan. So see the authority of Śrīla Prabhupada. A newcomer who has come, but there is no newcomer because they have eternal relationship. And both of them are aware of the relationship. So Prabhupada said that the 24-inch murti which Mahārāj promised will cost around $250. Just imagine $250 in 1968. Even $250 is 20,000 rupees now. And in 1968, it will mean almost 20 lakh rupees. For someone who has come new, who has just begun to follow the process of Krishna consciousness, Śrīla Prabhupada is asking him to give 20 lakh rupees to sponsor the deities of the Montreal temple. And you see how Mahārāj responds towards Śrīla Prabhupada's call is. So Mahārāj is telling Hamsaduta Prabhu that it will cost $250. This is another letter, very, very historic letter. This is one of the few initial letters that Śrīla Prabhupada wrote to Gopal Kṛṣṇa Goswamī Mahārāj. But in this letter, Prabhupada is pouring many of his instructions. The Prabhupada says, my dear Gopal Kṛṣṇa, please accept my blessings. I am in due receipt of your letter, January 26, 1969. And I have carefully noted the content. I am very pleased to understand that you are going to contribute $250 for devotee. This is how Śrīla Prabhupada is. Prabhupada is himself mentioning that I am very pleased that you will sponsor. You are going to contribute $250 from Murti. And then Prabhupada is also making it possible for him, because $250 would mean a very big amount. So Prabhupada is saying, I think that you can pay at the rate of 100 twice and 50 once. So Prabhupada said that you pay in installments. In the first month, you give me $100. The next month, you give another 100. And the third month, you give $50. Prabhupada says that will save much time. But if it is inconvenient, you can pay at the rate of $50 per month. Just see how much Prabhupada had trust in Gopal Kṛṣṇa Goswamī Mahārāj. As soon as I get $100, I shall immediately order the deities with this advance. I am so glad to learn that you are chanting very regularly and trying to follow the 4 principles of restriction as far as possible. I have got an account with the Canadian Imperial Bank of Commerce in Montreal. And if you think you may deposit the money there in my account, I can send you the name of the branch and my account number if you like. I think this will save time in your remitting your contributions. So see how much Prabhupada is inspiring or influencing. Prabhupada is in a way saying that you transfer me at least $100 every month. If you are not positioned to transfer $100, then at least transfer $50. And where to transfer, Prabhupada is guiding. With the Canadian Imperial Bank of Commerce and Montreal. And if you like, you may deposit the money there in my account. I can send you the name of the branch and my account number if you like. I think this will save time in your remitting your contributions. So this way, Prabhupada is, in a way, repeating and, reminding Mahārāj that once you have made a commitment of giving money for the murtis, you cannot back out. If you cannot pay $250 in one go, then you pay $100 a month. If you cannot pay even $100 a month, then at least pay $50 a month. But start paying. And if you pay $100, Prabhupada is saying, I will order the murtis and get it here. Hare Krishna. I'm just coming. So please meditate. How much Prabhupada had influence upon his disciples. Prabhupada could directly speak to them like this. Hare Krishna. Goswamī. So Prabhupada made sure that fitting the, attitude to deities so much developed. And Mahārāj happened to install so many deities all over the world. Mahārāj would be one of the most of Śrīla Prabhupada disciple who established maximum deities all over the world. And how it started, you see, how mystically Śrīla Prabhupada in a way influenced and forced Mahārāj to sponsor the deities. And you see how much instructions are there in this letter of Śrīla Prabhupada, early letter of 1969. Then Prabhupada is saying, but I am so glad to learn. So Prabhupada is saying, if you give me $100, as soon as I get $100, I shall immediately order the deities. This advance because the deity was to come from Vrindavan. So it will take 2 months for shipping. So in the time the DT comes, you will be able to pay me off. And then Prabhupada says, I am so glad to learn that you are chanting very regularly and trying to follow the 4 principles of restriction as far as possible. I have got an account with the Canadian Imperial Bank of Commerce in Montreal. And if you like, you may deposit the money there in my account. I can send you the name of the branch and my account number if you like. And if Prabhupada, this will save time in your remitting your contributions. Thanking you for your letter and for your thanking him, Mahārāj, for his sincerity and goodwill towards Kṛṣṇa consciousness. And in 1969, Prabhupada again wrote, this is the year where Prabhupada had maximum letters exchanged with Guru Mahārāj. He wrote at least 6 to 8 letters that year to Guru Mahārāj. And in this letter, it was a very historic letter of 16 March 1969. So see how Prabhupada begins. Prabhupada says, please accept my blessings. I beg to acknowledge the receipt of your letter dated March 7, 1969. And thank you very much for it. I am sorry I could not acknowledge the receipt of your money, but it was deposited in the bank. And Prabhupada is saying, less $3. So how much Mahārāj was to send? $100. But Prabhupada received $97. $3 were less. So Prabhupada is first thing in the letter. Prabhupada is mentioning that I received $3 less from you than what you promised. This is Acharya. No compromise. And Prabhupada is saying, but it was deposited in the bank less $3 and some cents, about $4. So next time when you send me your contribution, you can send it in American dollars. Otherwise, they can deduct some exchange difference. So because Mahārāj was staying where? In Montreal. In Montreal, what is the currency? What is the currency in Montreal? Anyone knows? It is not the American dollar. It is the Canadian dollar. So when Mahārāj transferred something in Canadian dollar, it was to be converted first to the American dollar. And then it was transferred in Śrīla Prabhupāda's bank account. So what happened when the transferring was done from Canadian dollar to American dollar? There is some exchange rate. Those who have dealt forex, they would be knowing. So in that exchange rate, Prabhupada lost more than almost $4. So Prabhupada is saying, next time don't do that. You first buy the American dollar. How much? 50 or 100. You pay the exchange rate also. You understand? There is some exchange rate to be paid. So you pay that $100 plus pay the exchange rate. So that I get full $100, not a penny less. Who will speak like this? Because Prabhupada knew he is a surrendered soul. He will not run away. Otherwise, in today's world, people will think, what? अरे 100 रुपए दे रहे हैं, 1 रुपए भी खर्च नहीं करना चाहते. But Prabhupada was not using it for his own use. Prabhupada was using that money to install Shri Gaur Nitai deities in Montreal. So see how Prabhupada is training Guru Mahārāj. And he is saying, you can send me always your long letters. It is very pleasing to me. So that means initially Guru Mahārāj and Prabhupada was having a lot of exchange through letters. And Mahārāj was writing very, very long letters. I am so glad that you want to chant 16 rounds of Hare Krishna mantra every day. And you can chant immediately. But you should also at the same time follow strictly the 4 principles of restraint and avoid the 10 kind of offenses in the matter of chanting. It will be quickly effective. And we see even till today's date how much Mahārāj is alert in avoiding the 10 kinds of offense. I am very glad to learn that you have vowed to follow these 4 principles as far you can in your lifetime. So Guru Maharaj wrote to Prabhupada that I want to follow the 4 executive principles all through my lifetime. And because you are so sincerely trying to push forward in the matter of Kṛṣṇa consciousness, Kṛṣṇa is giving you some intelligence also. And you are thinking in so many nice ways in the matter of serving Lord Kṛṣṇa. I am so glad to learn it. And then comes the important part. This is in 1969, 16th March, very early days. Prabhupada says you were returning to India by August 1970. Do you think that you will not come back again in Canada? If so, then I shall give you some work which you can nicely perform in India. So this is a very, very distinguished association of a bona fide spiritual master and a bona fide disciple. So Prabhupada was already planned for him. Because Mahārāj was leaving to come to India, Prabhupada planned Indian chapter of Kṛṣṇa consciousness. Where is the evidence? The evidence is this letter. You see, Prabhupada is saying. If so, I shall give you some work which you can nicely perform in India, informing them about Kṛṣṇa consciousness movement in the Western country. To tell you frankly, one of the objects of my missionary activity is to bring to notice of the educated Indian public that devotional service originated from the Indian side in its pure form, propounded by the educated public and the leaders of the Indian people specifically are deliberately violating all the principles of India's original spiritual culture in the name of secular state. So Prabhupada is expressing his very grave concern that the Indian culture is being lost. And Prabhupada is, in a way, he's preparing Mahārāj. That if you go back from Montreal to India, I have a big plan for you. And what is that big plan? Is that you have to revive the Vedic culture. Then Prabhupada says, when India was divided into Hindustan and Pakistan, there was good opportunity for the Hindu Indians to follow strictly the principles of Bhagavad Gita. And the state religion could have been declared Kṛṣṇa consciousness. Mahatma Gandhi was a great advocate of Bhagavad Gita. And when he was alive, I requested him to preach. Prabhupada's famous letter to Mahatma Gandhi. But I did not receive any favorable reply from him because he was too much politically contaminated. Prabhupada is saying that. So anyway, taking consideration of India's present government policy in the matter of educated public opinion, I do not think that in India there is any immediate possibility of spreading Kṛṣṇa consciousness very seriously. See Prabhupada's gravity. Prabhupada knew what is the situation in India, although he was far away. Under these circumstances, if you go to India, you have to make some propaganda against this attitude of the government and the public. Your desire for opening many temples is very laudable. But unless you prepare some temple worshippers, then the temple will remain vacant. This is the principle Śrīla Prabhupāda always said. Guru Mahārāj still follows. Guru Mahārāj only opens the temple in any center or any city or any place when there is sufficient backup of the pujaris. So here, Prabhupada is expressing that unless you prepare some temple worshippers, the temples will remain vacant. So in this age, it is more important to create devotees than to construct temples. My Guru Mahārāj advised me to give more stress on literary work such as publishing books and magazines in Krishna consciousness. And temple opening is a secondary consideration. I am just trying to open some temples in the Western countries because there is none. So far, India is concerned, still there are millions of temples, but gradually the number of temple worshippers is diminishing. Perhaps you know that recently, within 15 years, our capital, New Delhi, has developed tremendously. But the constructor of the New Delhi city has now ejected it. Not the constructors of the New Delhi city has not erected even a single temple. So the master plan of Delhi, which was built, it had no provision for any temple. So this is the tendency. Neither it is recommended in the scriptures to give more stress on temple building. The best thing in this age is to propagate the Sankirtan model. So I shall be very glad to utilize your energy in the Krishna consciousness movement as you are willing volunteers. So we see, if you could have, seen what Śrīla Prabhupāda is meaning. Prabhupada is giving 3 instructions to Guru Mahārāj. First thing he is saying that if you plan to go from Montreal to India, then Prabhupada is saying what you have to do, you have to spread Krishna consciousness. And Prabhupada made Guru Mahārāj the first Indian GBC. Guru Mahārāj had entire India in his hand. And Prabhupada is telling Guru Mahārāj that if you return to India, what you have to do? You have to preach to very learned and educated men. And then he says that you have to keep approaching people. And then Guru Mahārāj is also being told very subtly by Śrīla Prabhupāda that in the new master plan of Delhi, which is a very important city in India, there is no provision of temple. So Prabhupada expressed his desire through this letter that he wants a temple in Delhi. When? In 1969. And Guru Mahārāj throughout his life struggled so much to get this temple in Delhi. Prabhupada expressed his desire in 1969, 16 June. And in April, around 15 April 2001, the temple was opened in Delhi. How many years of struggle? Almost 31 years of struggle, 32 years. Guru Mahārāj struggled to get this Radha Parsa temple. So I'll stop here. So we see how from the very first day, Guru Mahārāj considered Śrīla Prabhupāda his spiritual master, and Śrīla Prabhupāda considered Guru Mahārāj his own personal property, his own surrendered servant, and utilized him. How? Praner Arthe Dhyavacha. In all the ways, with all the resources, to serve Śrīla Prabhupāda. So I'll stop here and I'll request everyone that tomorrow is the most auspicious Vyas Puja of Guru Mahārāj. So please reach temple by 9 so that you can witness. Pradeep Prabhu, if you also have opportunity, you can come. Just see how you are close. Ganesh, you, Priyanka, and Ravindra Prabhu, Sonika, you all please try to come positively tomorrow by 9 a.m. Hare Krishna. Somebody wants to say something or contribute? Hare Krishna. So we'll end here. His Holiness Gopal Kṛṣṇa Goswamī Mahārāj ki jai, Śrīla Prabhupāda ki jai.